We're all told that if we just persevere, we will succeed. While I believe that that's generally true, I think that if we don't persevere with both intelligence and wisdom, we're not likely to succeed. And that's what I want to talk about in this video. First, hello, my name's Michael Dewan-Herrick. I'm the creator of the online store called Attention Bazaar, for which you can find a description and a link below. Come and visit the store. Check it out. Thanks. Okay, let's get right into the topic. I believe that the only way you can really fail is to give up. And if you don't give up, no matter what the results, you've achieved the greatest victory. That being said, without intelligence and wisdom, you're not likely to produce desirable results. It's difficult to persevere. We have to rouse the courage, the motivation. We have to exert ourselves. We need to be patient. We need to bear failure. There's a lot of things that are really hard about persevering. So it makes sense, I believe, to go about it smartly, to optimize the likelihood that you're going to achieve what you want to achieve. I think the first smart thing you can do is to make sure that your goal is truly desirable. Are you persevering for the sake of something you really want? Ask yourself the question, whether you really want it or whether it's something you think you're supposed to want, or whether it's something that others expect of you. Ask yourself whether you really want it or whether you're pursuing validation from somebody important to you. If it is the validation that you're going after, just be clear about that. I think there is a price to pay for that. It's a high price. It may mean that you're going to tie your life to a way of living and a whole set of things that you do that you don't feel particularly connected to for the sake of getting praise and admiration from those that you want validation from. I believe you'll have a lot more satisfaction and fulfillment if your aspirations are for things that you truly desire, things that make your heart sing, not things that make others sing your praises. Another thing about goals is that not everybody who's listening to this, you may not be early in your life about to pick the direction you're going to go. You may be well on your way. And I can tell you as a therapist and coach that I've worked with a lot of people who find themselves in midlife, realizing that they've pursued something that they didn't truly desire. And it may be that it's not just about picking your initial goal. It may be about realizing you need to change goals. What I'd say about that, though, is that if you're going to change, make sure it's something your heart really wants and that it's not just because you want something easier. Don't give up on a goal just because it's been difficult. Persevere. That's what the perseverance is for. But you may find that you need to reassess your direction and pick something you're persevering toward that really makes sense for you. One more thing about goals. I would always encourage anybody to think big and to believe you're capable of more than you think you are. So think big, aspire and persevere toward things that stretch you. At the same time, there may be some things that are unrealistic, that are unattainable. And to persevere toward something that you don't have any chance of attaining is not smart or wise. My second point is don't persevere at doing things that don't work. If you just put your nose to the grindstone, as they say, and you just plod ahead trying to do what you know how to do without looking around to see whether it's actually working, you may spend a lot of energy and a lot of time getting nowhere. One way to think about this is to separate goals from strategies. Persevere toward your goal, if it's truly what you want, and stick to the strategy if it works. But if it's not working, reevaluate it. Consider doing something else. You may need to adjust it a little bit. You may need to tweak it and modify it. Or you may need to scrap it and start over. Go back to the drawing board and come up with a new plan. To persevere with intelligence and wisdom means to take the time to develop a good plan, A good plan will have many parts. It may unfold over time in a sequence, in a kind of a developmental process, and not just be do one thing endlessly. I want to give a personal example to illustrate this. About over 7 years ago, I started learning how to play the piano at the age of 59, and a strong passion in this. And I have practiced 2 hours every day. And the way I started was not that smart and wise, I don't believe, in retrospect. I watched YouTube videos and did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And, I felt that I was learning some things, but I didn't feel I was moving in any particular direction. And the things that I was learning, I didn't know how they fit together. So I decided to stop that. And I had a piano teacher. He came to the house once a week for 3 years. And he gave me some more focus. I had more of a sense of direction in my learning. It was better. But I found that I wasn't really learning jazz theory. I wasn't learning improvisation, and that's what I really wanted to learn. So I ended my lessons and I researched different possibilities for learning jazz piano. I looked into many different programs and I finally settled on one. It's called Jazz Piano School. Brendan Lowe is the founder, and there are other teachers that teach there. And I found that he started at bare scratch, from knowing nothing, and builds up slowly to much more complex, advanced stages. And now I have a plan. Now I have a strategy. I have a tool that I think is completely adequate. I still think that my progress is slow, but I have the best chance, I think, with using that program. If you're interested in learning jazz piano, I'm going to leave a link below. You can check out their school. My point isn't really about learning jazz piano. My point, though, is to have a good plan, to have a strategy that's comprehensive and understands the sequence of learning, gaining knowledge and skills toward a goal. Persevere with a good plan. You're more likely to gain success. My next point makes the previous point a little more complicated, whereas I would say don't keep doing things that don't work. Don't give up on doing things that don't seem to work, but the reason they're not working is that you're impatient and you expect immediate results. Some things that we do, we get results relatively quickly. If your house plants are looking a little dry, you water them and they perk up. But sometimes it takes longer to have something come to fruition. For that plant to produce a flower, it's going to take longer. You don't want to give up on it before that happens. If we're impatient and demand immediate results, we may prematurely give up on things that could work. Things like meditation, diets, learning a musical instrument, social networking to build a business. These things need persistence and time, and it's worth it to hang in there. So the wisdom here is, this is where the wisdom comes in. Knowing when to give up on something that's not working because it really isn't and won't work. And to know when to be patient because the thing we're doing will yield results eventually. It may seem to you sometimes that you need to keep changing your strategy. You come upon something and it doesn't work, and you're being creative and perseverant, and you're moving on to doing something else. And you do that for a while and it doesn't work, and then you move on to something else and it doesn't work. If you find yourself trying a lot of different things for a little while and discovering that none of them work, and you're looking for that magic bullet, that magic thing that's going to just make everything click into place, and you're wandering around like that, consider the possibility that you're not being patient. Consider that you need to stick with something a little bit longer and not keep moving around. Don't throw away perfectly good tools in your search for a magic wand. I believe that these two mistakes are accountable for a great percentage of perseverance not paying off, continuing to do what doesn't work and giving up on that which would work, but we don't have enough patience. I think there's two main areas I think there's two main areas that we can persevere. One is in our goals and aspirations for the kind of life we want to have. The other way we can persevere is being the person we want to be. One is about what we're creating in the world, and the other is who we want to be, our values, the person we want to become. We can persevere in that. And that isn't something that you can put on a to-do list and check off. Oh, I have now accomplished this. It's a daily path. It's something that you have to continue to do. So it's never over. But the upside is that every time you do it, every time you behave in a way that's aligned with your values and who you want to be, you've done it. You've accomplished it. So anyway, I just want to acknowledge that, that we persevere toward the things that we want to create and bring into our lives, but we could also persevere in the kind of person we want to be. So, whatever your dreams and aspirations, may you rouse the courage and the energy and the motivation and the tolerance for frustration and persevere. And may you persevere with intelligence and wisdom. And may you succeed. That's why I've done this video. That's why I do any of my videos, is to add something so that you can realize your dreams and be the person you want to be. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell for future videos, share this video with friends, and leave me some comments. I would really appreciate that. In the meantime, I will do a synopsis, write up a synopsis in a PDF format, and leave a link below in case you want to refer to it, so you don't have to watch the whole video again in case you wanted to recapture some of my main points. But that's all for now. Thanks for sticking with me to this very end, and I look forward to seeing you next time.